So you think you have a coffee problem? Huh? Well, so do I. Alright, let's just get down to it. Are your boomer parents' generation right that by buying coffee every single day, you're gonna go broke, homeless, and die on the streets? Well, how about we just break it down? Also, I know it's supposed to be about coffee. This is an iced matcha latte. Just go with it. It's still a latte. So this iced matcha latte cost me 6 Canadian shekels. And for the American folks, let's just call this 4.5 US dollars. I'll be using USD to reference dollars in this video because Canada isn't actually a country. It's more of a frozen tundra somewhere up in the north. Okay, so if I buy one of these every single day, that's gonna cost me $1,642.50 for a full year. That's a pretty wicked amount, but what's the alternative? Well, I don't buy this stuff every single day. It's more like a once or twice in a week treat. But what about on every other day? What am I drinking? Julian! Because I'm not drinking this every day. So this bag of coffee that I've been drinking costs 17 American freedom bucks. It has 907 grams of beans.
This is beans!
And I like to put a double shot of espresso in my drinks because I like to live dangerously. So according to the first search result on Google, I would need 16 grams of beans to make a double shot of espresso, and I do grind my own beans and everything to make one of my own drinks. So if I do some complex arithmetic, that means that each bag of beans gets me 56 lattes approximately, plus or minus a few lattes because I don't measure everything out. I don't actually know if it's 16 grams, I'm not a barista. But after the complex arithmetic, at that 56 lattes per bag, that means each bag is getting me about 30 cents per coffee. That means that each latte is costing me 30 cents provided that I'm using that brand at that price. But then you throw in some milk because I don't drink my coffee black, I'm not a psycho. And I use Fairlife milk, it's kind of expensive, but it's got some good protein, it's lactose free, tastes delicious. And now we're looking at maybe $1 per coffee. So let's say I drink one of my own homemade coffees every day. That's gonna cost me $365 a year. Now I do like to drink a mixture of iced lattes and iced Americanos, and if you know what an Americano is, you don't need milk. It's just coffee and ice. If you make it right, it can taste pretty good. I don't drink my coffee black, I'm not a psycho. Ooh, look at the sweet drippings down there. Focus, bitch. Yeah. That's matcha. So yeah, 365 US bones per year isn't too bad considering that it's 4.5 times more expensive to buy a Starbucks every single day. And honestly, I kind of prefer my homemade more. Like I said, these are just a treat. I don't drink these every day. I'm not making my own matcha. I like theirs better. Now, depending on your income, that's a lot of money. Or maybe it's nothing to you. Also, I don't know where you live. Maybe where you come from, coffee is dirt cheap. Or maybe it's a luxury, who knows? And I don't know how much money you're making either. But the takeaway is, if you can make it yourself and you can learn to enjoy it, then it'll be pennies compared to going out and buying your own coffee every day. And again, I don't know your financial situation, but I really don't think coffee is making you poor unless you do it really stupidly and buy like a $10 drink twice a day. If anything, it could actually be boosting your productivity and making you more money. Okay, so now I kind of want to shift the focus of this video away from money and more towards productivity because, caffeine can make you more productive, and that's probably one of the main reasons you drink caffeine. If you're an avid bean enjoyer like me, then you know that with coffee, you can get more done because you have more energy and more focus. And it just makes you feel pretty damn good. So at least for me, these are the benefits that I notice when I drink coffee every day. I feel more alert. Andrew Huberman in his podcast did mention that if you strategically use coffee, it can actually be shown to improve cognitive function. And I also do like to use his protocol of waiting at least 60 to 90 minutes before consuming your first cup of coffee in the day because it prevents the afternoon crash that we all dread so much. It just carries me through my days, and I highly recommend you check out this episode if you're interested in how you can make caffeine work for you and make you more productive. The next point kind of piggybacks on the previous point, but I actually use coffee as a pre-workout. To make sure I push harder in the gym, I need some caffeine because if you're waking up really early and you're not sleeping as much as you should, I made a whole video on recovery, which you should go check it out. But trying to mask all of your tiredness with a metric shit ton of pre-workout isn't good for you. There's so many chemicals in there, I don't even know what's in there anymore, man. Like, it's just full of shit. And I've just decided to use good old coffee. I know the ingredients, it's just beans.
Beans!
It tastes better than any pre-workout I've ever had. Pre-workout tastes like shit. And truthfully, I don't feel any less alert or focused than if I were to just use plain old pre-workout. Maybe I'm using the wrong brand, I don't know, but hey, coffee is so much cheaper than pre-workout if you've ever bought it before. And finally, there's just a whole list of benefits that if you just do a quick Google search, then you'll see that it can also be an antioxidant, it reduces the risks of very specific diseases, or it even enhances your mood. All these little things that they're great and all, but I don't think they're the main takeaway. I don't think that you should use coffee as like an antidepressant, for example. I mean, that's just weird. But I just wanted to point out the things that I notice when I drink coffee. Your benefits may vary. I mean, it depends on how you take caffeine. I mean, some people can't even drink decaf tea without feeling a whole bowl of anxiety, and that's fine. That actually segues nicely to my next topic, which is why it might actually be worth to buy less coffee and drink less, or even quit caffeine altogether. So back to the financial topic of this video. Well, it's obvious that when you cut back on coffee or you quit coffee, you don't have to buy it, and you save yourself up to $1,600 a year. You'll save at least a few $100s if you cut back on your coffee depending on your usage, which yeah, maybe a few $100s a year doesn't seem like too much, but then you realize you can buy so much stuff with like $1,000 extra. It's $1,000 bucks. That's a lot of money. But you have to ask yourself if quitting caffeine has more benefits than downsides. Is it worth the trade-off? I think reducing coffee intake is good, especially reducing it to that sweet spot, which I'll talk about that shortly, but quitting might actually be worse for you. Again, I don't know you, I don't know your body, I don't know your limits, but 200 milligrams of caffeine seems to be like that sweet spot, which is roughly a cup and a half or maybe even 2 cups for me. But if you can find a way to enjoy your coffee for cheaper, I would say go for it. I would say don't quit it, especially if it gives you a ton of joy in this life. And I mentioned this in the last point, but a lot of bad things and bad side effects about caffeine can actually be reduced or even just completely wiped out if you strategically use coffee. For example, if you use Huberman's protocol of avoiding caffeine in the first 60 to 90 minutes of waking, you can avoid that afternoon crash, which can be a huge problem for a lot of people. Or if you try to avoid caffeine at least 10 hours before your bedtime, then you're gonna have a good time sleeping and you're not gonna stay up all night. If you drink responsibly, for lack of a better term, then you can reap the benefits of coffee while avoiding a lot of the drawbacks. I think coffee has a place in most people's hearts. I don't think that it's for everyone again. Some people react very negatively and get a lot of anxiety or makes them feel really jittery, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, if you're watching this video, you're probably a coffee drinker. I don't know why you're watching this if you don't drink coffee at all. You're already saving $1,000 bro. We get it. You're advanced, you don't drink coffee, that's cool, whatever. But of course comes the dependency issue. This is a huge problem that the coffee drinkers and all of us face from one point or another. I went on vacation a few months ago and I didn't have my daily coffee just ready for me in the morning, and I noticed I was getting headaches. I was literally getting withdrawal symptoms on my vacation because I didn't drink my coffee every day. I was able to find some coffee, thankfully. It wasn't good coffee, but as soon as I took a sip, headache went away. Our bodies are amazing at adapting, and unfortunately, that means that our bodies can adapt to the substances we take on a daily basis, including caffeine. So if you drink 3 cups of coffee a day and you're way overdoing your caffeine intake, that's gonna become your new maintenance intake. You're gonna have to keep drinking 3 cups of coffee to sustain just feeling normal. But if you drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day, then that's your maintenance. You don't have to drink a shit ton of coffee just to feel like a human. Now, me personally, the sweet spot is around 1 to 2 cups. I drink about 2 cups a day. Now, I mean, there's gonna be those days where maybe you wanna get a coffee socially with a friend and that ends up being your 3rd cup of coffee, and that's completely fine. Everything in moderation. Just don't overdo it and you'll be fine. And I know this video kind of got off topic, you know, away from finances and more towards just productivity and stuff, but I'm a productivity guy at heart. I'm gonna have to talk about it. But anyways, in the end, you know your body and your finances the most, so you have to determine what's worth it and what's not worth it. I do truly hope that you learned something from this video, and if you did, let's talk on my Discord. It's free. All right, well, that's all I got for you today, so I'll see you on the next one. Take care, fellas, and make sure to drink responsibly.